Mayor Truman.
Here.
Councilmember Colbert.
Here.
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Bass.
Here.
Councilmember Anderson. Councilmember Gregory. Here. Councilmember Kerstetter.
Here.
Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Stanley.
Here. Stand for the invocation. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to the approval of tonight's agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to council minutes, approval of the council minutes from the February 20th meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of the February 2025 postponed regular council meeting as presented.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve the February 20th minutes meeting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to presentations and proclamations. We have the North Meridian Tree Replacement Project update.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Tonight, it's my privilege to present Roger Stewart from the Public Properties and Outdoor Spaces Board. Roger is first and foremost a close friend of mine, but he's served on the Public Properties and Outdoor Spaces Board for many years here for the city of Valley Center. And on this particular project, he has logged a lot of hours and been very, very helpful to me on this project. So I will turn it over to him.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Okay. I appreciate you, if you've had a chance to look at all the handouts that I had sent out. We've had 2 council meetings to look it over. If you turn to the timeline, I'm going to briefly go through these just to kind of point out some details. And then if you have any questions, don't hesitate to stop me whenever you see one that doesn't quite, or you need some more clarification. This whole project for us started in July 2023. Discussions on when the construction, and we knew that trees were going to be removed. We just didn't know how many. Through the course of that 2023, we went through and met with got the construction plan, saw what trees were going to be removed. And then that November, we had a town open house, which I think most of us were here to discuss the Meridian project. And I gave handouts on just what we were planning on doing once the trees were removed. And then in January 24, the trees were removed. Spring to summer 24, it was determined what trees to plant and then where we were going to plant them. And that was kind of the hard part because it was based on the construction, then also based on utility lines. And that was quite an ordeal to try to figure out, okay, can't put the trees back where they were because of all the utilities that are now underground. So then the spring of 2020, spring and summer, as I said, we developed what trees. Then we went and developed a brochure and met with property owners. We had 18 species that we wanted them to try to choose which ones they wanted based on small trees, large, medium trees, and large trees. The major problem was that a lot on the east side were all going to be small trees of Meridian because of all the utilities. So, determine what for each property, what tree would work the best and what space we had. So we met with the property owners, came up with 16 out of the 18 species that we offered to them. People wanted, and then in October 24 we requested bids, and then in November and December we got the trees. Began getting the trees when they were available, and then on just this past January we pretty much finished the trees that we had, 50 trees for the Meridian project. So that's kind of the timeline. It was like a year and a half from the very beginning to where we are now. We're not finished. We still have 29 more trees to plant there. It just depends on the species. So if we go to the next slide, the kind of tell you what the species trees that were removed. They were pretty much 53 trees were removed. And if you scroll all the way down, please, again, you'll notice, it's kind of large, but you'll notice that those first three columns are either dead, 50% dead, or pretty much and stressed out. And yeah, there we go. Thank you. That encompasses about 75% of the trees that were removed. 20% were dead, and then 40% were 50% dead. So they were old soldiers that did a great service to Valley back, when they were first planted, but it was time for them to get removed and rejuvenate Meridian. Then sadly enough, 13 were still good, viable trees, but they were planted at the wrong place. And this whole project, we've really pushed right tree for the right place. You don't put a big giant tree in a small little spot. So that was what we tried to tell the property owners to, right tree for the right place. We were also wanting to get diversity along Meridian. There was a lot of diversity in those, some of those trees that were removed, but most of them were in real bad shape. So we were looking for fall color, spring color, and then, as I said, to try to develop this canopy that we used to have way back when, even before the 2005 ice storm came in and wiped out a lot of them. So that was the whole point, was to get diversity, to get fall color, to make Meridian beautiful again with these tree species. So let's go to pictures, please. Okay. We had 4 types of flowering crab. We had essentially, we had the red, pink, and white. And so people got to choose which ones they wanted. We have roughly, I think we ended up with 20 or so of the flowering crab that were planted out of the 50 so far. I have too many notes. I'm sorry. I was way too prepared. And that happens. Anyway, so these are considered the small trees. Spring color, beautiful. You've noticed those are the ones that have already been planted on Meridian. And really, most of them are there between the sidewalk and the curb on the west side. We have a few on the east side. That's where we could put utility. It was not a problem there. Okay, scroll on down. We have two more varieties of small trees, two redbuds. Oklahoma redbud, which is much more, has a much more vibrant color in the springtime. And then we were going to go with the next, oops, yeah, there it is. Merlot redbud. We had forest pansy originally there, but talking to the suppliers, they were saying, well, forest pansy isn't really a southern tree species that, or it will just get really hot. It's too hot here in Kansas for forest pansy. So they suggested the Merlot. One thing about the Merlot is it keeps the burgundy leaves all year long. So we'll have color there in that aspect. Okay. And then another small tree, we only have one of them, but it's the Japanese tree lilac. And that should be really bright white colors. And it has, most of these have nice yellow, orange fall color. And that was what we were trying to do, having, the spring flowers, but then also have fall color. Okay, and then we have the medium trees, which most of these trees will go onto people's private properties. But everybody seemed to think that that was okay. Osage orange, you think Osage orange, oh no, it's those big giant hedge apples. Well, this is a thornless, fruitless Osage orange. And it's a beautiful tree when it gets fall color. It's bright yellow. Then we have a golden rain tree, which we had a beautiful one there right at first in Meridian, but it had to get taken down. Once again, beautiful yellow color in the springtime. Okay. Then we have the medium trees, the chinkapin oaks. You can scroll on down with the Chinese pistachio, I'm sorry. It has nice red, bright red color. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Chinese pistachio, but it's gorgeous. And then and the two maples that we have are Caddo maple, which is a smaller maple, more rounded. And then we have the autumn blaze. And they are colors in the fall. And the London, I don't know it as sycamore, but it's kind of other. And they have the nice yellow fall color. Then we wanted to get trees, the larger trees for canopy. And we wanted to put in elms that were disease resistant elms. And we wanted to build back that canopy along Meridian. One of the problem is we couldn't get it too close to the curb, which we really want, but it wasn't possible. So all these American elms that were planted are in people's yards, but they will provide shade. Maybe not in my lifetime, but it'll be nice, great shade for our kids. And same way with the Shumard oak, which is the last one. So that's the varieties of trees. Bright colors for spring, bright colors for fall, small to large. Here it is. I had it written down here. We had 39 small, 12 medium, and 29 to 28 large trees. So we do have a mixture there too. A couple more additional items that I didn't put in the packet. There are 57 properties on Meridian. 34 had trees removed. 41 had trees planted. And then 16 of the properties, there was 9 of them, there was really no room, nowhere we could put a tree. 3 property owners refused the tree. 3 said, yes, we want a tree, but then later on said, sorry, we just don't want it anymore. And 1 we just never could contact them. So we did what we could to try to appease all the property owners the best we could. And also, one last thing, I kind of developed a average cost per tree. We had 5 suppliers. We tried to get the best deal in the nicer looking trees. These are all local folks. And it's roughly $250 a tree. Cost, the average cost. Some were higher, some were lower. And our planting costs, since we did it ourselves as crews here, it costs roughly $100 a tree. And that's for the labor, the equipment, the insurance, the staking, those type of things. So it averaged about $350 a tree. Now, I got some estimates of what it would cost if we had outdoor people or outside people plant for us. And it was anywhere from $150 to $200 a tree. So in essence, with us planting the trees, we saved $4,000 to $8,000. So we're trying to do our best to keep the cost down, but also get the quality trees in there that we need. We didn't go for the tiny little trees. Most of these are 2-inch trees. They're good size. As I said, it'll take a while for them to get to, where we all want to sit under them through Fall Fest. But they'll get there. I feel confident that everybody I've talked to, most all the property owners that we've worked with have been great. They've been so excited. And we really think this is a great thing for our community. Once again, to restore a beautiful tree-lined corridor for our city. Diversity, especially with spring and fall color, and the right tree in the right place is what we strive for. So, do I have any questions? Are y'all?
I just appreciate you volunteering for this project. It was quite a task, and this presentation is awesome. You are an asset to Neil and his crew on doing this, and I think I speak on behalf of the council and the city. You're an asset to the city and much appreciated.
Thank you. One other thing, I did get the information back from the Tree City USA, and we were accepted as for another year in the Tree City USA program. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Roger. You put a lot of time in this, and this presentation you give us was excellent. It's good to see what these trees are going to look like long before I'm gone. Or long after I'm gone. Let's put it that way. Okay. Moving on to the public forum. Do we have anybody here from the public that'd like to address the council on anything that's not on the agenda? No? Okay, moving on to appointments. We don't have any. Old business. Ordinance 1420-25. Comprehensive plan adoption.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the last step in the adoption of our 2025-2035 comprehensive plan. I presented it at the last meeting for the first reading. This will be the second reading, and staff recommends approval of the ordinance.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 1420-25, adopting the 2025 through 2035 City of Valley Center Comprehensive Plan for second reading. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 1420-25 for second reading. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to new business. Resolution 779-25. Annexation of Block 5, or Lot 5, Block A on West Valley Edition.
Good evening again. Yeah, we were approached by Carmen Martinez Ortega, who owns this parcel that was wanting to do an island annexation into the city of Valley Center. Reasons for wanting this is she wants to subdivide the property into smaller lots. There will still be large lots compared to normal city lots, but probably 1 to 2 acres in size. She is here, and I believe will be willing or would like to speak or address you on this matter as well. If you approve this resolution, it just sends notification to the county for them to consider if this annexation would or would not be appropriate for Valley Center to take.
Gina?
Where exactly is this?
It's near 85th and Hoover. Just there it is. Sorry. So this is
It's not
zoomed in a little bit further than I had hoped for it to be, but Hoover is 2 parcels to your left. Would be where that intersection would be, right before the floodway.
Thank you.
Okay, so, hi. My name's Aida Lopez and, we just bought the land property off of 85th and Hoover Road. Right now it's considered Sedgwick County. We just want to see if we can annex it over to Sedgwick, to Valley Center, because all areas, north, south, east, and west, around that area is already Valley Center. So when I went to go talk to the Sedgwick County, they told me that it wouldn't be a hard, big problem for them for me to come just talk to you guys. And this is when I've been talking to Kyle Finley about it for a while. We bought it last October. So our intentions was to buy, of course, to own our home there, to build 2 homes there. And then right now it's as a rural development, and they do have it as where we could build like an event wedding center in the front. That's just another option that we're wanting to do, or build a duplex.
So Brent's kind of showing. So right now it looks on the aerial map it's in cropland, but it is subdivided. So it'd be right adjacent to the green space that you see on the right side of that property, which is just the next 9 acres basically. If this goes through the annexation process, then it would come back for platting if they subdivide.
That's it. Right adjacent to Garrick's property. Is that correct? You know the people who live in. It's right across the street from where I used to live.
There's a home right across the street.
Yeah. I'm surprised it was there. I mean, it's just comical because I drove out there yesterday and took a look at that, and in that western corner, there's somebody's already got kids' yard equipment out there. I mean, playground equipment. So,
Where? In that area?
well, it's in the western,
Oh,
upper
yeah.
western.
Closer to Hoover.
Yeah, right there. Right in that area right there. Dale.
This is for Mr. Fiedler. Is this entire area already subplotted by the county?
Correct. If Clint, could you go back, or Brent, could you go back to?
So this is it right here?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So it has been platted in the county, and that meets county regulations. That's outside of our extraterritorial jurisdiction right now. But because of potentially going to smaller lot sizes, it'd be too small for county regulations, and it would they would need to
Okay.
annex Valley Center to get the smaller lot sizes.
I don't mind doing the annexation. I don't know. Well, I would worry about your neighbors not wanting to have some of the ideas that you're throwing out there, but that's your deal. So, but yeah, I knowing where it is, it sounds good. And I've already seen some development over there closer to Hoover. Yeah, that's all I got.
Any other questions?
I would just speak to Councilmember Kerstender's comments. So if we annex it and then they subdivide it, depending on what their uses are when they subdivide it, we'll also have to go through zoning. So the neighbors will be notified of any intent that's not residential.
This doesn't require 2 readings. Oh, okay, just double check.
Yeah, this is just a resolution, so it's one reading, and it looks like Barry will have comments. But then it'll go to the county for consideration, then it'll come back for an ordinance to annex, which will be 2 readings.
Oh, okay. I got confused on the process. Sorry.
If the council wants to go forward on this, you would take a vote on this. We would prepare a resolution to present to the Sedgwick County Commission. They have to make a couple of findings that this wouldn't interfere with the development of the area or another city. If they made that finding, then we could annex it after that finding is made. And at that time, we could go forward with city requirements.
So the motion that we have in here is appropriate.
Any other questions or comments?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A little clarification for everybody. This isn't our first rodeo when it comes to island annexation. And so if you recall, so before you here is the resolution that the county then requests. And so the first process is basically the applicant has requested via the Community Development Office to island annex this parcel into the City of Valley Center city limits. The resolution then comes before the Mayor and Council. If the Mayor and Council so chooses to pass it, then this is what then gets filed at the county level, and then the county commissioners would take it up whenever they can at one of their commissioners' meetings. They then have basically the same conversations that you're having, and then they either approve or they disapprove our request via resolution, and then it comes back to the city council, to this body, in a form of an ordinance. That ordinance will then be read in 2 separate readings. Well, we typically do not waive those readings, and so we have those opportunities for the adjacent property owners to come and voice their concerns as well. And then if that process then does take place and that does get potentially approved, then that's when the zoning and all the applications for potential platting, zoning regulation, subdivision all those things that can start coming into play. But the first thing first is if the mayor and council want to entertain the idea of island annexing this property and request the county review it, and then see if the county will then allow the City of Valley Center to annex it into our city limits.
Robert?
Brent, this may be a question for you. So what's the minimum lot size that has brought this before us? Because it sounds like that Sedgwick County has said that the lot size were going to be too small. So tell me what is the cutoff point? Because I do know to the west of this, lots have already been sold, but I believe they were much larger lots, maybe a 5-acre lots, I believe.
I think pretty typically Sedgwick County is going to be 2 acre, less than 2 acres.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you very much. Motion to approve Resolution 779-25 regarding the request to Sedgwick County to annex land at Lot 5, Block A in the West Valley Addition.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve resolution 779-25. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to professional service agreement, Abilene Lift Station design.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. I'm not Samantha with SCH. Unfortunately, she was unable to join us this evening with potential weather. She does live quite a distance away from Valley Center, and so I told her safety comes first, and so I told her to go ahead and stay at home. Mr. Eggleston can help me with this as well. What this is for an agreement for professional services for the Abilene Lift Station. South there on Abilene, while then curbs on the southern part of our community is where the current lift station is, in between two driveways. And so there's two houses. This lift station is smack dab in the middle of two driveways. And we were concerned originally when we started developing everything to the south, south of 4th Street, as well as Fieldcrest from the Mennonite Housing, and seeing how that lift station was going to be able to handle that capacity. Well, it is not going to be able to handle that capacity the way we had hopefully envisioned. And so in order for us to, be a little bit proactive before all of the 96 structures go in on the south side of 4th Street, we are proposing with this professional services agreement to relocate that lift station a little bit more to the north of where it's currently at. It will still be on Abilene. It's actually right by a manhole that we currently have. And so it's really easy to drop this lift station in this area. If you know where the Oriental House or Kimmy's K9 is currently, this is the property, the same property, just to the east of where the structure is and the fence is. We recently did a lot split, and that is for this parcel. And so there'll be a corner on the southeast side of this property that will be turned into right-of-way. And then that right-of-way is where we'll put the actual lift station itself. Now, if you're an adjacent property owner, don't worry. The lift station will have a beautiful fence around it. You won't even know it's there. You might see a light. It might be by a council member's house that, hopefully when the light flashes, they call us right away. But this is really to then have the existing lift station be a pass-through direct, just basically a pipe going into another pipe that will then go to the new lift station. If we don't do this, then we will potentially have the risk of backing up a sewer line, sewer main to the east, and filling some homes full of some things that you don't want to get a call in the middle of the night about. So I encourage you to approve this professional services agreement so we can go ahead and get this started.
Dale?
I appreciate you telling me kind of more where it is other than the map. It's behind the hardware store, basically.
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
Where's the money coming from? Clint, do you know where the money is coming from? It will be coming out of sewer reserves.
Okay.
And so we do have plenty adequate funds based upon the estimate that we have received to cover this out of just our normal sewer reserves. And then if history keeps repeating itself, we'll have enough to replenish that over the next couple of years, especially with our payment coming off for our sewer loan. We'll have a little bit more funds in that to then do these types of projects.
This is just the professional services agreement.
Yes, this is just a professional services agreement for $57,200.
So we're going to have another one coming later for the actual
Yes,
work.
the estimate right now is in that $600,000 to $700,000 range. It's a lot cheaper than a few basements.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Is that going to be open cut? I mean, is that the existing line now with the arrows, or is that gonna be a new line? I'm thinking new line.
Yes. So right now, if you can see that reddish pink line there, that right now is a force main. That's a pump main from the existing lift station. So that lift station was put in the early 80s. It's kind of undersized. It sat there with no houses on it for several years before it was ever used. And so what that'll do is, what this enables us to do is to build that whole gravity main around the middle of the road with those extra manholes, get that all built and ready. We can drop that new lift station in. And as Mr. Clark was saying, we're looking at different prepackaged units so they can build the wet well, and then they have prepackaged units we're looking at to just drop right down in that well. It has all the pumping, piping, controls, everything. So yeah, around the 600,000 range is about 60% of what actually constructing a lift station would be. So this will be a gravity main. That's a benefit in itself because we're getting rid of force mains. Sometimes those force mains can be a problem all by themselves, as Mr. Stam may know. And so, yeah, this will be a much better situation.
Any other comments or discussion?
Motion to approve professional design agreement with SEH for Abilene Lift Station in the amount of $57,200.00 and authorize mayor or city administrator to sign.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. The agreement for professional design agreement with SEH for the Abilene Lift Station. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
See, we need a executive session. Need a motion?
30 minutes.
Got 10 minutes.
Move for council to recess into executive session for the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property. The open meeting will resume in the city council chamber in 10 minutes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to go into
2
executive
minutes?
session for 10 minutes.
And to include city administrator and city attorney. Second. It wasn't on here.
Have a motion and a second. Move into executive session for 10 minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll be back at 7:48. Call the meeting back to order. Have a report.
What was it again? No, yeah, that's all I gotta say. No action taken? Or,
Yeah, no
okay.
action.
No action taken. There we go.
Okay, moving on to. Yeah. I have lost my.
We're on the consent agenda.
I think we need a motion for the consent agenda.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Second.
That's right.
So moved.
Motion.
There you go.
Motion to
Motion and a
accept.
second for the consent agenda. Any further discussion?
We're good.
All in favor of the motion, signify for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Moving on to staff reports now. Cal. Neil? Rodney?
Just real briefly, we did have a Meridians meeting today. I don't have a whole lot to update on it, but that we had brief discussion about the lights between Main and Fifth, and they're coming on at different times, kind of daylight, and they're working on the timing and then getting the photo sensors running correctly. And then we discussed time for staff to be trained on how to adjust those timers and those photo sensors. On the south, they're getting very, very busy. They're working on getting Industrial and Meridian finished up, paved. We went down and looked at the sidewalk today along the bank there and some possible adjustments there on the sidewalk. And then they hope to have Industrial and Meridian open Friday.
Any questions, comments?
Oh, yes, and the 69th Meridian is scheduled to close March 17th. They're
17.
looking, the schedule says they're looking at 135 days in that neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Mr. Shears here tonight. Okay. Barry? Clint? Christie? Grant? Wow. I marked that down. Moving on, governing body reports. One thing I got to say is that rec center is awesome. And it looks like it's being used well. That parking lot is full. So, it's a good thing. We have a Sedgwick County, was it SAC meeting there Saturday at 8:30. Get to show it off to the county. So if you guys plan on attending, it'd be a good opportunity to you. That's all I have. Ron?
I have nothing.
Robert?
I'm good, Mayor. Thank you.
Clint?
Nothing for me.
Dina?
You stole my announcement.
I gotta be careful. I don't know what Dale?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Not good, sir.
Matt?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to close for adjournment. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify for raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.